What would I tell myself 10 years ago? 2 years into being a wedding photographer and a bit over 6 months since the leap to full-time self-employment. If I sat down with my 22-year-old self, this is what I would tell her. It's okay to be quiet. You don't have to be like the loud and confident people you see as successful on social media. For the longest time, you'll feel that being an introvert is holding you back, like there's something wrong with you when you turn up to an event where you don't know anybody and the anxiety hits in a big way, and you feel paralysed in a large group, struggling to think of anything valuable to contribute. I know you feel kind of stupid, and sometimes you resent your quiet nature. It feels like a deficiency. But I want you to know that what you see now as your greatest weakness is actually one of your greatest strengths. You have a quiet confidence that is only going to build with time and experience. It's not going to look like the confidence of those you look up to on social media. It's your own unique version. As you ride the waves of self-employment and business ownership, you will face all sorts of challenges that will continue to shape you and develop all the skills you didn't know you needed. You will overcome and problem solve things that feel super uncomfortable at the time, but you will make it out the other side, stronger and having learnt so much. And as you grow in business, you will learn more about yourself, learning to be content with who you are, recognizing that you are uniquely equipped and purposed to serve and connect with others. You can connect with couples who resonate with your energy and approach. As you keep showing up as yourself, the right clients will be drawn to you. Those couples aren't interested in their day feeling like a photo shoot. They feel a little nervous about being in front of the camera and don't want to be bossed around by a photographer. You can reassure them that there's another way. You can show up for them on their wedding day. You can be a calm and quiet presence that puts them at ease. They won't need to worry about the photos. They can focus on soaking up the day. And don't worry about feeling stuck for ideas on a wedding day. You'll create a repeatable approach that takes away anxiety, but doesn't limit your creativity or force your couples to fit into a box. You'll create space for yourself and for your couples. In fact, you'll become known for it. And eventually, you'll love sharing this approach with other photographers, so they can also grow in confidence when it comes to posing couples. And don't stress about the business side of things. You'll grow to love this just as much as the photography. You don't have to act a certain way to be successful. There are so many ways for you to be successful in business, and you can choose the path that fits you. There's not just one path to a successful business. There's zillions, and you can choose the one that fits just right. You'll find systems and processes in your business that suit you. You don't have to jump on phone calls and do a hard sell. You don't even have to jump on any phone calls if you don't want to. You'll learn that business can keep changing and evolving, and it's always best to keep learning. And now you're going to make heaps of mistakes. And at the time, these things are going to feel like massive failures. But I want you to know it's not the end of the world. These things that feel so uncomfortable in the moment and feel so disappointing and like you've really ruined your chances or stuffed things up. In hindsight, you'll recognize that these are such massive opportunities to learn and grow. I'm not going to tell you how to avoid the mistakes you're going to make. The failures are the way you learn and build so much resilience. In fact, there is so much to gain by making the wrong decisions. And in the moment, it's not money. But with time, your knowledge base is getting really solid and your ability to take on bigger challenges is growing. And all of these lessons have been learnt through trying and failing and trying and succeeding and trying again. The most important thing is that you don't give up. And you'll probably want to. There'll be points where you'll wonder if any of it's worth it. You'll wonder if you should just quit and find a real job. People aren't always going to understand the decisions you make. They're probably not going to understand just how much work and time you put into things, and the results aren't always going to be that evident either. And that can be really hard. The journey isn't an easy one. It's not a well marked out path, and there's a lot of times that you're definitely making it up as you go. But that's okay. The whole process is all about learning. And sometimes it'll pay off and sometimes it won't. And that's okay. Because even when it doesn't pay off, there's so much to learn from it. I think that's the thing I really want you to know. It's so much better to have tried and failed than to have never tried, and to have gone all in and it not paid off. Even the times where it's really hasn't paid off financially is super hard, but it's definitely worth it. At the end of the day, you're still going to be grateful that you went all in and that you chased these crazy dreams and you booked the airfares and you took on the weddings and you tried the things. Self-employment is hard, but it's really worthwhile. The freedom, the flexibility, the chance to be your own boss and make your own decisions. There's really nothing like it, and it really is such a cool job. And the people that you get to meet through this job is just so rewarding. The couples that connect with what you're doing, and then you get to be a part of their most special wedding day. It's just the most incredible access and privilege and honor. And, you know, there's definitely days where you're not feeling all of that, but the days where you do, it just feels unreal. And you get to make a job out of something that, you know, when we were even younger, like still in high school, just getting into photography, this job didn't even seem like a possibility, or imagining just how amazing this would be. We never could have imagined it, and that's pretty cool. The next thing I really want you to know is to lean into what you're drawn to and to trust yourself. Don't get too worried about trends. It's tempting to feel like you have to shoot a certain way or edit a certain way, or just chase what's really popular or trending. But what's more important is to keep developing your own style, leaning into what you're drawn to and how you want to photograph and capture things. Lean into your unique way of seeing the world and how you want to express yourself. This is going to be way more beneficial in the long run as you develop your own visual language and your own style, and you stop blending into the crowd and start having work that's recognizable. This is going to serve you so much better from a personal creativity standpoint, but also from marketing. When you start to hear people say that they can recognize your images as they're scrolling Instagram, like that's the best. And when they know that you've taken a shot or it looks like your work, that's going to be so much more beneficial in the long run than to feel like you have to just keep up with what's on trend and what's popular. Because when everyone starts following trends, the work all starts to look alike. But if you start to develop your own style and really keep developing that and leaning into that, your work is going to stand out amongst the noise. I just don't want you to lose yourself in the process. And don't be afraid to share who you are. It's totally daunting to show up on camera and to speak to camera, whether that's on social media or videos for your website, but it's so rewarding and worthwhile, and it just allows people to connect with who you are so much more. It totally gets easier. It's okay when it doesn't feel natural and it feels super awkward and so cringy when you hear yourself back, but it's such a great exercise to learn to accept yourself and build confidence in speaking and sharing who you are, that the growth, the personal growth and the payoff from that is so worth doing. Even if you take the business side out of it, just the act of doing this and speaking to camera, it is pushing through the uncomfortable. It is doing your very best to speak well and to think clearly. And there's just so much personal growth that comes from that. Then from a business perspective, the way you show up and present yourself, and if you're doing this authentically, people are going to be able to connect with you so much more, and that's going to help with building trust and likability. Yeah, especially in weddings, when you're being invited into such personal and meaningful days, it will really help for people to feel like you're not a stranger. So keep leaning into the discomfort, keep showing up, keep sharing who you are, and it's really cool to see how people respond to that. The fear of being criticized or made fun of is so real, but there is such a hunger for connection and honesty and authenticity that will far outweigh any negative comments. And when it comes to social media, you can totally treat it as an experiment and a visual diary. You don't have to take it so seriously. You can share whatever you're excited about and just trust yourself to put out the work that you like. And if it doesn't go viral or perform as well as you would hope, then it doesn't matter, as long as you really like the work and you're proud of it and you're happy to share it with the world. That's much more important. I want you to take the pressure off yourself. Trust your own intuition and your eye. Now, the last thought I want to leave you with is that it's okay if your capacity looks different to others. You can take on as little or as much as you have capacity for. More weddings doesn't equal better. I know right now you feel like wedding bookings equal success, and every time you book a couple in, it's a massive win. And it totally is. But don't fixate too much on the numbers. You'll hear other photographers telling you how many weddings they have booked for the year. It'll be 40 plus, and you'll hear stories of other wedding photographers or videographers shooting even more, 80 weddings. And you'll think, how is that even possible? And you'll feel a little inadequate, or like you're not doing enough, or you should be shooting more, or why aren't you booking that much? The thing to remember is that might be success for them, but that doesn't have to be success for you. At the end of the day, it's important to take on an amount of work that is within your capacity, that isn't going to burn you out, and to be charging an amount that feels right as well. That means you don't have to shoot every single weekend or shoot multiple weddings in a week. With time, you're going to learn your capacity, and spoiler, it's not high volume. It's a really great exercise to figure out your sweet spot. What I want you to do is work out how much you want to earn in a year, whether that's 100K or more or less, and then divide that by how many weddings you want to do. Find that number. Then from there, you can adjust or tweak. Maybe that's figuring out how much you want to charge per wedding, or an average booking price. Figure out what you feel confident charging. Then figure out, is that achievable with the amount of weddings that you want to do? Do you need to either shoot more, or are you okay with earning a little bit less? But once you can figure out your enough point, that point where you're taking on enough work that you're happy with and earning enough, once you can find that number, that's going to be a huge help to figuring out what you want your life to look like, or what you want your work life to look like. That's also going to take the pressure off feeling like you have to keep booking and booking and booking. Once you know how many you need to book for the year to hit those financial goals, and also the number that you feel comfortable within your energy and capacity to take on, that allows you to still do an amazing job and deliver those photos in a reasonable time frame without feeling completely under the pump or burnt out. That's the real secret to having a business and creating a business that you love, and that allows you to have the lifestyle that you want to have. The key thing that I want you to take away from all this is that there is room for you. There is a place for you in the wedding world. Just keep showing up, keep growing, keep learning as much as you possibly can, and don't feel like you have to be anything other than yourself. Of course, you're going to keep growing and changing as a person, but keep growing into more of who you are, rather than feeling like you have to be something that you're not. The real key is to become more of yourself, more comfortable in who you are, more confident, more content, and keep bringing that to the world and to others. That's what I want you to know.